us what that entails.
Mercury retrograde. Well, whenever a planet is retrograde, it gives the appearance of moving backward in the sky, which in fact that's not what it's doing, but it gives that appearance. So we call it retrograde because it looks as though it's even moving backward in the chart. That's not what's really happening. It's that everything else is moving, and that planet has, for a certain period, has slowed down its movement. Okay, and as everything else is sort of moving past it, it gives it that illusion. During a Mercury retrograde, Mercury is a planet that rules communications primarily. It also rules engines and motors and contracts. It rules education, whereas the 12th house rules the institutions of education, the actual buildings. Mercury rules the education itself. That being said, during a Mercury retrograde, it is not advisable to embark on any new endeavors. It's a good idea to do your research on a Mercury retrograde. It's a good idea to get your ducks in a row on a Mercury retrograde. You're not supposed to fix your car. You're not supposed to have surgery. You're not supposed to sign a contract, get into a new business, buy a new car, fix your car. There's this whole series of things you just don't begin on a Mercury retrograde. Now, if something is designed or intended to be for a short period of time, then the Mercury retrograde is perfect. It's a perfect time. You know, if you're going to do, say, an art fair, and it's on a Mercury retrograde, that makes perfect sense because it's not something continuous. It's meant to, it has a shelf life, a beginning, middle, and end, and that's quite different. But you don't embark on a static, stable endeavor. You don't buy a car, something you're going to have for years, or a home, or, you know, do surgery. You don't sign a lease for a new, you know, move. You don't move. You don't do anything that's going to keep you stuck for a year, because really what's going to happen, or for many years, is what's going to happen is you're going to have a pattern of problems that will continue to reappear throughout the course of that particular experience. So if you start a business on a Mercury retrograde, you'll have periods throughout the business where it's really not going to launch, and it's not going to meet your full expectations. What will probably happen is that you'll have good periods, and then all of a sudden things will occur that will set you back. The same thing can occur. It's like you move into your dream house or your dream apartment, and 3 months into moving into your dream house or your dream apartment, some pipe breaks in the wall, and the next thing you know, you've got water everywhere. These are the kinds of things that we set into action when we sign contracts on a Mercury retrograde. So be aware. And a lot of astrologers sit and they talk about the Mercury retrograde, and don't do it on the Mercury retrograde. We here at myastroworld.com feel much differently. We feel that in order to really save your ass, you shouldn't do anything for the 3 weeks before the retrograde, all the way up to the 3 weeks after the retrograde. I have found over the years of doing charts that the shadows, both the coming and the going of the retrograde, that those shadows have as much, if in some cases not more, of an impact on a person's chart and activities as the actual retrograde. And unfortunately, about half the year we run into that, and people always say to me, well, what am I supposed to do? Not do something for half, you know, what am I supposed to do? 6 months out of the year, just sit and do nothing? No, 6 months out of the year, organize your life so that you're not starting new projects and you're not signing new contracts. I would hope that for 6 months out of the year, whatever anybody's doing, they're studying, they're researching, they're getting their facts, they're getting everything together. So that's my astrological advice.